Chapter 5. A few things I still need more time to understand. I still need to understand why so many Americans partake in get-rich-quick schemes to have the latest of everything. To them, all that glitters must be gold, the same ideology embraced by many of my people in my native land. My people are always looking for ways to get rich and acquire big houses, a fleet of cars, and servants to show they have arrived at Easy Street, all achieved disproportionately with their legally earned cash inflows. The dream of my people is to recover recklessly whatever they might have been denied while growing up. Many of us were taught that an image or status symbol is everything, without discussing the legal ways to achieve ascribed status. Neither were the consequences of their unjust actions on ordinary citizens discussed. I was raised with the thought that everyone with money should be admired, and that we should pray to the heavens to grow up and be just like them. It didn't matter how they acquired their wealth. I can now declare that if these bad things can happen in America, then we are all God's children, anywhere in the world. I still love what America represents after all. They always work on solutions that will improve their society. In my native land, however, solutions are not part of any discussions or vocabulary except to promote self-interest. Okay, America has self-interest too. I watch with agony the continued erosion of many African Americans' economic freedom despite their enormous economic purchasing power, running into billions of dollars, far more than the annual budgets of many countries in continental Africa, without natural resources. African Americans seem to lack the ability or mentality to get along or work together more. But again, my folks back home have the same inability. I'm just going to say it. We must have shared the same DNA. There is no need to consult the assistance of Ancestry.com. I can taste similarities between the minority blacks here and the predominantly black in the fatherland, even when some tried their best to differentiate one from the other. At the same time, I'm pleased to state that so many successful African Americans are doing very well in their fields: academia, arts, sciences, medicine, technology, communications, administration, and business. Who doesn't want to be on the side of success? I want to be like many of them someday. Many are rich. As a matter of fact, many are so filthy rich that the narratives of their success, some from rags to riches, will make another novel. But I must mention that Her Majesty Oprah Winfrey is the pack's head. If these beautiful black people could make it in America, I'm convinced that if I work hard, with a bit of prayer to cover all the bases, I can surely make it. Looking back on my past, I have no other choice but to be successful, like any of them, okay? Maybe not as successful as many of them, but successful. I really don't need 5 houses or a $250 million aircraft. I will settle for a $75 million jet and 2 houses on the French Riviera and the other on the beautiful coast of Florida. I'm dreaming again. I still do not understand why many in our midst want to blame others for all their shortcomings without doing a little soul-searching about what they can do for themselves. They act as if others don't have their own problems. Even those born with silver spoons have unique problems: how to spend their money, what political influence they need to harvest, etc. I wish those with any means would engage their mirrors and see their inadequacies, probably due to their own making. My brother once told me, "It's not written anywhere that a brother should help his brother." He doesn't believe in "be thy brother's keeper." I disagreed with him to some extent, of course, but philosophically, he was right. After all, it was written in Moses 5:34, "Am I my brother's keeper?" What's more, American leaders, many in politics and some as agents of God, join in the same misdirection to protect their image, base, and political agenda. They say what their constituents want them to say, and do what their clans or tribes wish them to do. They play on the ignorance of their followers to hold on to power instead of doing right by all mankind. Many changes, like the wind, for better positioning. But again, who knows what is right or wrong anymore? I believe these folks do. They just set aside their good conscience. They just refuse to admit what's right to keep their identity or brand. Maybe they don't. They don't see the need to change because they benefit from the status quo. Perhaps they don't care or don't know how to care, to put it mildly. Everyone is now holding on to their valued positions, regardless of the consequences it will have on others. The leaders continue to ignore what is rational and what is human. They must be politically correct, or their re-election or ability to control and remain in power is in peril. I never knew that American religious leaders discriminate between denominations, the same denominations created by the same maker they serve and preach about. However, the students of religious history probably knew there was nothing new in the religion of today and the religion of yesteryears. Now, I understand where the religious leaders in my motherland received their religious training, from the foreign religious deliverers. After all, it was an imported religion. But to be fair, even those with the old traditional religion in my motherland are doing the same to their followers and believers. In essence, the old and the new religion are not far apart in their modus operandi. Sadly, their followers don't have the wisdom to think for themselves on religious doctrines. After all, almost everyone in the name of religion is culturally directed. They must follow their leaders. Many leaders worked hard to keep the jobs they hated and constantly criticized their employment sources. I often ask myself, do these great Americans really believe what they do or preach when they're with their friends or in the comfort of their abode? Do these folks ever go home and search their conscience? Maybe they do, but they just don't see any reason to do otherwise. However, I'm actually comfortable with their performances. I'm familiar with similar behavior by my leaders back home. I still prefer the American way and how they do everything with style, finesse, class, and professionalism. I love Americans for their national pride. Oh Lord, I'm in love with American ethnocentrism, any day of the week. I find it difficult to understand when American leaders play macho with the rest of the world, in spite of the fact that those they speak to in a degrading manner admire them. They had been trained to admire foreigners. What I still don't comprehend is the effectiveness of the sanctions they imposed on so-called unfriendly countries. The leaders they sanctioned, piece by piece or progressively, remain in power, living large, robust, fresh, and smiling to the rest of the world, while the poor citizens suffer endlessly. For all practical reasons, the rich, whom they purportedly sanctioned, always find ways to circumvent the so-called sanctions. The rich and the powerful always have the means to plan ahead. They have professional handlers to help them plan ahead. They have reserves to weather the storm of sanctions. On the other hand, the poor, who have nothing to do with the reasons for the sanctions, don't know how to plan for it or have the means to prepare for one. They don't know how to set aside a reserve for the rainy days. As I see it, many individuals in these countries are not jealous of America. Instead, they want America to be fair in its leadership role to the world, as endowed upon it by their founding fathers. But if fairness is not the operative word these days, then I stand corrected. I'm still convinced that fairness and understanding will improve relationships worldwide for the benefit of all God's children. I must ask at this juncture, are we really all God's children, or is the phrase just a figure of speech? My American leaders can do more than what they are doing now. Their choice shouldn't be between what's comfortable and convenient alone, or between allies and adversaries, but a choice between what's good and decent for all mankind and what is evil. We already knew what's evil. We even knew who the evil ones were and their geographic locations. I still can't understand what America means by people of color. I thought everybody had color. Okay, I get it now. Color has different shades and definitions. The differentiation is that one color is determined to be superior to other skin colors. Can those who judge based on color really believe that people with the color they hate so much have a say about the color they were born with? All I know is that I was born with my natural color, without my knowledge or the option to choose my color preference, the same way those with other colors were born without their ability to choose. Okay, I stand corrected because my Bible taught me the story of Cain and Abel, where I think the color thin all began. So, readers, forget everything I have said concerning this subject matter. My feeling now is that sooner or later, people will hate others for their height, weight, looks, who they look at, how they chew their food, and how they walk. I'm certain many are already doing so, or are being groomed to do so at the right age. I know folks already discriminate between the beautiful and the ugly. I was told how ugly I was growing up, but I kept asking myself, but I have nothing to do with the way I was born. These judges of looks never judged the looks of my parents and saw any element of relativity. But again, I'm afraid to perform a DNA test either. I would rather leave that look thing alone. I once read about sociologists' research on hatred, but why, for God's sake? If you don't care for or love someone, just leave that someone be. To me, just hating for the sake of hatred doesn't make any sense to me. But again, nothing makes any sense these days. My only rational solution to meanness or hurting others is ignorance, idleness, and something in the water they drink. In my religious teaching, Jesus Christ died for the multitude so we would sin no more. It is about time we made him proud of his sacrifices. Frankly, I'm of the opinion that it's too late to make him proud of us. Many of us are still waiting for his second coming, and perhaps by then, he will teach us once again the love between his children. However, I don't see this love one another happening. After all, he was crucified for the same effort. But I must ask, is it unreasonable for us to do all the right things, as he once taught us before his expected second coming? This way, upon his arrival, he could evaluate our good deeds and say,
Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, please like this video, leave a comment, and definitely subscribe. Want to know what happens next? Be sure to follow to catch the very next chapter.